Kathir itself means a lot. At-takathur, the desire to have a lot. So the first meaning is the desire to have a lot distracted you. That's the first meaning. The desire to get a lot distracted you. You were so busy wondering, I don't have enough, I need to get more. I only have a rental, I need to buy a house. I only have an old car, I need to get a newer car. I only have this much savings, I need more savings. I only have one business, I need to establish another business. I only have this, I need more. There's always this desire of getting more and more and more. Your mind was always busy doing that, and it distracted your mind from thinking about something that was more important. That's the first meaning. The second meaning of takathur is the competing in getting a lot. So the first thing was wanting a lot for yourself. The second is competing with others in getting a lot. How come that guy got more than I did? How come he has more than I do? Man, this guy got a better job. I need to compete. I need to keep up. And this happens at the level of an individual. It happens at work. It could be in petty things. It could be like, man, you're sitting in your cubicle in your office and you got a chair, and the guy next to you got a nicer chair, and you're like, why did he get a nicer chair? Why did he get that? It's a silly thing, but you're wondering why. He's a nicer mouse. His mouse pad is cleaner. He gets the window office. I don't get the window office. This could be something so petty. There are two janitors. Their job is to clean up the building. And one of them has a shinier mop, and the other one's saying, man, his mop is nicer than mine. This urge to compete with others in what you have. Constantly comparing your car with somebody else's car. Your house with somebody else's house. Your clothes with somebody else's clothes. Your assets, your wealth with somebody else's wealth. So this distracts you. The first thing was you want it for yourself. The second is you're competing with others. This attitude of competition between you, it keeps you busy. By the way, this attitude even takes place in social issues. They had a wedding. So how should our wedding, our family's wedding, be better than theirs? They booked that hall, we should book a more expensive hall. They ruined themselves by going into debt, we should ruin ourselves even more by going into deeper debt. Right? But the idea is this competition. It's always there. It's always there. And of course, this even happens in the workplace among non-Muslims too. It's not just Muslims, of course. Allah is talking to all humanity here. Cutthroat. Who wants to get the promotion? Man, that guy better not get it. And if he gets it, why did he get it? Why did I get it? When somebody gets promoted, it's not like you got paid less. There's still food on your table. But there's this natural urge inside the human being. It even happens among children. It even happens among children. You have two kids. One of them, the teacher gave your kid a star on their paper. And the other teacher didn't give them a star. Right? Because she gives stars on some other things. So this one kid, you're sitting in the car, you're driving home with your kids, the one kid goes, I got a star. And the other one's upset. I didn't get anything. Now the fact is, whether she got a star or not, does that hurt this first child? No. But what is inside already embedded? This urge of competition. I want to get everything he or she gets. I want everything they have. This is a natural tendency. And Allah Azza wa Jal alludes to that tendency in this ayah. So the first thing was wanting more, and the second was competing in more. That's the second meaning. Here's the third meaning. It is taking pride in having more. At-tafakhur ma'at-takathur. To take pride in the fact that you have more. In other words, when somebody comes to you, and they're just talking about whatever, you make it a point to let them know, yeah, I graduated from that school, and and by the way, this car, I just got it 2 months ago. Got a really good deal. Only 37,000, etc. They didn't ask you about your car. They didn't ask you. But you felt an urge to tell them anyway, because takathur implies, not only do you have it, you like to tell people you have it. You like to let them know, yeah, I'm doing pretty good. I got this and that and the other. Right? So these three things so far, right? And then there's the fourth. Tafa'ul in Arabic, it has two things in it. It has mufa'ala in it, which means people competing against each other. We covered that one. But the fourth thing the word takathur has is something that is shared. Ta'awun, competition, not just competition, but cooperation among each other. Right? When you have, what this fourth meaning is all of you have the same thing. All of you share the desire of wanting more. There's not one of you that wants less. Every one of you wants more. You all of you have that in common. And this common urge to want more and more and more, and to compete with each other. This one thing that has united all of you. By the way, this is one thing that unites people that are even different in religion, race, ethnicity, age. You could be different in so many ways, right? But what is one thing all people have in common? They want more. They want more than what they have. Nobody's happy with what they have already. And Allah says this sentiment, this attitude, it deluded you. It distracted you. But you know, in Arabic, when this verb is used, ilha, then you're supposed to also add distracted from what? The question is, okay, I got distracted. When you say I got distracted, you're supposed to add, I got distracted from what? I got distracted from work, I got distracted from school, I got distracted from what? And when you do that in Arabic, you add the word an. Like the ayah I shared with you, لا تلهكم أموالكم ولا أولادكم. Then Allah adds, عن ذكر الله. Don't allow your monies and your children to distract you from what? From the remembrance of Allah. There's a from there. There's an additional information. There's a piece of information that you're expecting. Now in this surah, Allah Azza wa Jal did not mention an ay shay. An what? Or in regards to what are we distracted? So now, by leaving it open, the benefit of that is it becomes itlaq. It becomes absolute. You figure it out. Allah wants you to figure out, what is it that you're distracted from? Some of the ulama commented, the first thing, it distracted you from the truth. It distracted you from the one calling you to the truth. He's calling you to something important. Yeah, I'm busy with work, man. Somebody comes to you, hey, listen, why don't we learn something about Qur'an? Why don't we learn something about the sunnah of our messenger, sallallahu alayhi wasallam? I'm busy right now. And Allah is saying, your busyness is actually a distraction. And it kept you from the truth. It kept you away from it. This is one thing, keeping away from the truth. From looking within yourself. Another commentary from ulama we find in tafsir. That al-muhasaba, it distracted you from looking inside. What am I doing with my life? Why am I running after this stuff? And you know, when you run after stuff, what happens when you get it? You get bored of it. Then you go run after something else. Then you get bored of that too. Then you go run after something else. Happens to all of us. If you're running after buying a home, once you buy the home, what happens? After a while, somebody else's home starts looking a little nicer than yours. Right? It just gets boring. You got to redecorate it. You get bored. When your kids really want you to buy a video game for them, you buy it for them. How long before they get bored of it? A couple of days, they beat the game and that's it. It's finished. A new movie is coming out. You know, back when I was in New York, I always talk about this. When I was coming out, I think it was the Star Wars, that one of them came out in the 70s and then another sequel came out. I don't know how many there are now. But when it came out, it was a big buzz in New York, right? And there was only opening in this one movie theater, and there was a line longer than the line for the passport for Hajj. These guys are waiting to get their ticket to see that movie all night. They're standing in qiyam waiting to get the movie ticket, right? They want nothing more in life than to watch that movie. Some of them are even dressed in ihram. They're dressed in the Star Wars gear, painting their faces, Jedi Knights, the works, right? Because they want to go see this movie. Once they go see this, they wanted nothing more. If you talk to them right then and there, you say, hey, you want to come and do some work or you want to do something else? No. This is what I want to do. Once they finish watching the movie, what do they come out and say? It could have been better. It wasn't that good. The special effects were kind of cheesy. This and that. You just wanted this so badly, and what happened? You got deluded. You thought this is going to bring you happiness. That's why you did it. But as soon as you were done, were you happy at the end? No. You figured something else. Man, I can't wait till the third one comes out. Now you moved on to the next thing. So you keep deluding yourself. You never stop and think, man, I'm never satisfied. Every time I get one, I want something else. Every time I get this, I want that. I never get fulfilled. I never get content. So it even kept you from looking within yourself. It kept you from pondering over your purpose in life. This distraction, this want, this competition, it kept you from pondering, why am I here? Is my job on this earth only to run after things, and then run after some other things, and then run after some other things, and then go into my grave? Is that why I was here? Is that what I was put here for? Because that's what animals do. They eat, then they get hungry again, then they go eat, and they get hungry again, and they go. So what's the difference between me and an animal? If this is what all I'm here for, then how am I any different from an animal? But this, you were so busy in this competition, you never had time to think about that even for yourself. Even if you did, a fleeting thought, never something that you would truly ponder over. Then of course, ulama comment, it kept you from paying attention to this message, to this Qur'an. This Qur'an was supposed to open your eyes. It was supposed to show you what your purpose in life is. It was supposed to give you the best introspection, look inside your own consciousness for you. It opens yourself up to you. But you didn't have time for this Qur'an because you're too busy with takathur. It's deluding you. But the most interesting commentary I found is, you remember what the last surah was? So is Al-Qari'ah, the loud knocking noise from the beginning. Hawiyah at the end, hellfire. Allah says, Alhaakumut takathur. This distraction was so huge, it even kept you from Al-Qari'ah. It even distracted you from the fact that the entire earth will be rattled, that hellfire will be brought forth, and some people's scales will be heavy and some people's scales will be light. That huge reality that you learned about, that you memorized, that you even recite. Many of us recite that surah because it's short and we're in a hurry, right? So we recite it, and yet, even though we recite it, we're distracted from that reality. How can that be? Alhaakumut takathur. Subhanallah. That's Allah's commentary in the beginning. Let's look at some of the things that ulama have said in regards to this ayah. First, we'll look at the parallel between this and Surah Al-Adiyat. Remember, Al-Adiyat talked about attitudes in dunya, and the surah also. In that surah, Allah Azza wa Jalla says, إِنَّ الْإِنسَانَ لِرَبِّهِ لَكَنُودٌ. No doubt the human being is very disloyal, ungrateful to his master. وَإِنَّهُ عَلَى ذَلِكَ لَشَهِيدٌ. And no doubt he is a witness to that truth. وَإِنَّهُ لِحُبِّ الْخَيْرِ لَشَدِيدٌ. There is no doubt his love of good, his love of stuff, things in dunya is very intense. And now Allah is saying, your love is so intense. That He said in that surah. In this surah He's saying your love of those things is so intense, it ends up doing what? Distracting you. So it's the next step. What did that love end up doing? It ended up distracting you. There's a solid connection between the two things. Al-Zamakhshari comments, إِذَا شَغَلَهُ. Meaning, this plentiness or this desire, it kept you busy. Not only in your mind, but even in your activities, it kept you busy. He defines takathur as following: التباري في الكثرة والتباهي بها, to show off in plentiness and to be proud of it in and of yourself. وأن يقول هؤلاء نحن أكثر وهؤلاء نحن أكثر. And so that someone would say, we have more, and the other would say, no, we have more. And that's what your entire life would be spent, just saying who has more and who has less. Subhanallah. At-Takathur commented again by Ash-Shawkani rahimahullah, تَفَاخَرُوا أَيُّهُمْ أَكْثَرُ عَدَدًا. That they show off to one another who has more in terms of what. And then he says, أَوْ أَرَادَ أَلْهَاكُمُ التَّكَاثُرُ بِالْأَمْوَالِ وَالْأَوْلَادِ إِلَىٰ أَن مُتُّمْ وَقُبِرْتُمْ. Very important comment. He said the distractions, it may perhaps are distractions of money and children. The distractions that Allah is talking about, takathur, is two things, money and children. Why is He saying that? When ilha is mentioned elsewhere, what does Allah say? لَا تُلْهِكُمْ أَمْوَالُكُمْ وَلَا أَوْلَادُكُمْ. With the verb for distraction associated in the Quran is with wealth, assets and children. That's one place. Another place is takathur. So in Surah Al-Hadith He says, وَتَكَاثُرٌ فِي الْأَمْوَالِ وَالْأَوْلَادِ. So with the first word of the ayah, ilha, we also find amwal and awlad. With the second word, takathur, in the Quran, we also find amwal and awlad. We find both things. So both amwal, meaning assets and children, we want more and more and more for them or of them. And at the same time, both of them are incredible distractions from our real purpose in life. They can become enormous distractions.